Good afternoon to all students. So today in this lecture we are going to have a look on the advanced part of the self-tuning regulators. In the earlier lecture we have seen what is self-tuning regulators, its block diagram, its working and applications, okay, and how it is used. Now today we are going to have a look on the different types of STRs, okay, which includes deterministic STR and stochastic STR, okay. So already I told you in the last lecture there are two types of STR. First one is indirect STR and second one is a direct STR. STR means self-tuning regulator. It is a short form. So now in case of indirect self-tuning regulators, the parameters of the process are estimated by the available estimation technique. Okay, whichever technique is available that is being used, and these estimated parameters, okay, are used for design of the controller to design the control law. It is a time consuming process, okay, it is a iterative process and high computational time is required for this process, and this approach is referred to explicit self-tuning control, okay. And in case of, on the other hand, direct STR is a very low computational technique, means it requires very low computational time. Also lot of time is saved in this approach. This is very less iterative procedure, and this approach is referred to implicit self-tuning control, okay. Direct STR is referred to implicit self-tuning control, whereas the indirect STR refers to explicit self-tuning control, okay. Now after that we are going to have a look on what is deterministic and what is stochastic process. So a stochastic process or system is one which cannot be expressed precisely, okay. It cannot be expressed precisely, but it can be expressed with the help of statistical data, so it is quite exact. And the second one is deterministic process or system. So deterministic system can be expressed precisely, okay. And also these deterministic systems are encountered in case of, or are used in case of servo systems, and these stochastic systems are used in case of regulator systems, okay. So this is for servo system and this stochastic process is for regulator system, and for both the approaches STR is available, okay. You can use deterministic STR, also you can use stochastic STR, okay. So now we are going to have a look on deep look on, or a brief look on, the deterministic regulator, okay. So in case of, so as a control engineer we know that development of a control system involves many different tasks such as modeling of the plant and the controller, then design of a control law, then implementation of that control law, and then validation of that control law, okay. So the self-tuning regulator attempts to automate several of the tasks, as I said earlier. So the main reason for using an adaptive controller is that the process or its environment is changing continuously. That is the reason why we are using adaptive control, to adapt the changes ongoing. Also it is difficult to analyze such systems in which the environment or the surrounding things are changing continuously. So to simplify the problem, we can assume that the process has constant but unknown parameters. So now the term self-tuning was earlier used to express the property that the controller parameters converge to the controller that was designed if the process was known to us, okay. So an interesting result will be formed, or that is, this could happen even if the model structure was incorrect. So estimation can be performed continuously or in different batches. In case of digital implementations, which are very most common nowadays, different sampling rates can be used for the controller and the estimator. Okay, it is also possible to use hybrid schemes in which control is performed continuously and the parameters are updated in discrete manner. So parameter estimation in case of STR can be done in many ways, many different ways. There is also a large variety of techniques that can be used for control system design. Okay, as I said in the last lecture, it is also possible to consider non-linear models and non-linear design techniques. Okay, so many estimation methods will provide estimates of parameter uncertainties. So these are typically not used in the control design nowadays. And in the other hand, the model can be reparameterized. Okay, it can be reparameterized such that the controller parameters can be estimated in a direct manner. So that is a direct adaptive algorithm is obtained by using the reparameterization of the controller. So in case of indirect methods, these are also called as explicit self-tuning control. Okay, as I said in the first slide or second slide, because the process parameters have been estimated now, and direct updating of the controller parameters has been called implicit self-tuning control. Okay, now here in this point we are going to have a look on the algorithms. So these algorithms are divided into direct and indirect self-tuners. Okay, so the basic idea in both types of direct self-tuners algorithm and indirect self-tuning algorithm is to identify some parameters that are related to the process or the specifications of the closed loop system. So whenever we are going to design the deterministic self-tuning regulators, direct or indirect maybe, it is assumed that the process model and the controller are linear systems. Okay, and in this case of the algorithms or the design methodologies, we will restrict it to single input single output system, that is SISO systems. And in most cases we will assume that the control is sampled and the estimation and the control are performed with the same sampling rates. Okay, so recursive least square will be used for parameter estimation, and the design method is a deterministic pole placement design. Okay, so by using this pole placement technique we are going to design a deterministic self-tuning regulator. So a combination of a least square estimation and a pole placement design gives us an indirect self-tuning regulator. So now we are going to have a look on the first technique to design the deterministic self-tuning regulator is the pole placement design. It is a simple method of controller design. We have learnt it in the control system basic theory, and the idea of this method is to determine a controller that gives us desired closed loop poles. Okay, so basically we are going to have a finding out of closed loop poles that is given by the controller. Also in addition, it is required that the system should follow the command signal in a specified manner. So now we will start here. So this pole placement technique is a simple method that can be properly applied. If properly applied, it can give practically useful controllers as well as understanding of adaptive control. So this is also a key to understand the similarities between the self-tuning regulator and the MRAC, that is model reference adaptive controller. So now we will start the derivation. So process model, okay, this is a CISO system, single input single output system. Okay, so it is given by A of q y of t equals to B of q in bracket u of t plus v of t. So where this y of t is the output, u is the input, and v is the disturbance of the process. This is a CISO system, you know that basic. Okay, so now here this A of q can be expressed as equals to 1 plus a1 q inverse plus a2 q to the power minus 2 and so on, okay, up to n. In the same way we can represent B of q as that of A of q from 1 to n, okay. So now these polynomials A and B have degrees. So degree of A equals to n, small n, okay, and degree of B equals to degree of A minus do. So d naught or d suffix o. So this parameter do is called the pole axis, okay, parameter, which represents the integral part of the ratio of time delay and sampling period. And also it is sometimes, okay, convenient to write the process model in the delay operator. Okay, delay operator is q inverse. So now it is assumed that this A and B polynomials are relatively prime, which means that they do not have any common factors between them. Also it is assumed that this A is a monic, which means that the coefficient of highest power in A is unity, okay, or 1. So monic means if a polynomial has a coefficient of highest power is unity. So this is a diagram or the block diagram which represents a linear controller with 2 degrees of freedom, okay. So here these are the inputs and this is the disturbance, controller output and the process output, okay. Process is B upon A and the controller is RU equals to TUC minus SY. So from this we can find out the controller which we are using here. So linear controller can be described by RU of t equals to TUC of t minus SY of t in time domain, okay. This is the second equation which we are going to use in the further derivation, okay. So this second equation has been taken from this, okay, in the time domain manner. So here in this second equation, R, S and T are polynomials and the control law represents a negative feedback with the transfer operator minus S upon R, okay, and a feed forward with the transfer operator T upon R. So negative feedback for minus S upon R and for feed forward for the T upon R. So we can have a look of the different 2 degrees of freedom, okay. So this controller or this process has a linear controller which gives us 2 degrees of freedom. So further moving, so consider this equation number 1, okay, this one for CISO system. So from 1, when we are going to equate for y of t, so when we have to find out the value of y of t, okay, so this goes here and we can see as it is a multiplicative polynomial it will become divide. So y of t will become b upon a in bracket u of t plus the disturbance, okay. So this is the third equation. So now from equation number 2 of a linear feedback linear controller, okay, we can find out the value of u of t as that of we have find out the value of y of t. So that is u of t equals to, so when we take u of t for a value, this will become divide, okay, for both. So u of t equals to t upon r uc of t minus s upon r y of t. So as I said earlier, the control law, this is the control law, it represents a negative feedback with the transfer operator. This is for negative feedback with a transfer operator, and a feed forward with the transfer operator t by r, okay, positive. So this shows it has 2 degrees of freedom. Now in the next step, substitute this equation with this value of u of t in equation number 3. Then we will get y of t equals to b upon a, then u of t means this whole equation into it, okay, and plus the disturbance v of t. So now take the like terms, that is take y of t terms on the left hand side and uc of t and v of t to the right hand side, okay. After equating we will get this equation, okay. This is the equal to sign. If it is not visible, this is the equal to sign. I'll zoom it if it is not visible. Okay. So now you can see here clearly it is a equal to sign. So then we have to take the value of y of t, okay. So just so after finding of out of value of y of t, we are going to have this equation which will give us the coefficients with uc of t and v of t, okay. So denote this with the equation number, and then similarly by using this equation number 4 we can find out the value of this u of t like we have find out for y of t, okay. So u of t will become, okay, polynomials with u of uc of t minus polynomials with v of t. So now the closed loop polynomial we can write it here as ar plus bs equal to ac, okay. This is what our closed loop polynomial is. Now here the idea behind this design method is to specify that the desired closed loop characteristic polynomial, which is this one ac, okay, the polynomials r and s, this r and s can then be solved from this equation. By using this same equation we can solve it, r and s. So now we can notice that in the design procedure we consider the polynomial ac, okay, to be design parameter which is chosen to give desired properties to the closed loop system, okay. This equation which will play a very fundamental role in algebra, okay, this is called as Diophantine equation, okay. It is also called the Bezout identity or the Aryabhatta equation, okay. I think you have learned this in the digital control. So this equation always has solution if the polynomial a and b do not have any common factors. So the solution can be poorly conditioned if the polynomial have the factor that are very close, okay. So this solution can be obtained by introducing the polynomials with unknown coefficients and solving the linear equations obtained. So when we are going to find out the t, there are some other conditions which needs to be introduced, okay. So this requires that the response from the command signal to the output be described by the dynamics like this equation number 7. So the Diophantine equation, this equation number 6, determines only the polynomial r and s. Okay, and in order to find out the t, other conditions must be applied, as I said earlier. So for the other conditions, or to find out the t, we will require that the response from the command signal uc of t to the output described by the dynamics. Okay, these are the dynamics for that. So now this equation follows from the phi, okay, y of t, that the following condition must uphold. This is the condition, okay, bt upon ar plus bs equals to bt upon ac equals to bm upon am. Okay, this condition should be upheld. So this condition is a combination of the first, so polynomial of this phi a equation from uc of t, then with the Ackermann, arbiter identity, and then this condition, okay, different information to find out t. So now this equation number 8, or this condition, says that the response of the closed loop system to the command signal is specified by this model, okay, equation number 7. So whether the model following can be achieved or not depends upon the model, the system, and the command signal. Okay, if it is possible to make the zero error for all command signals, then we can achieve perfect modeling. So from equation number 6, okay, this is the Diophantine equation, it can be deduced that there are cancellations of factors of bt and ac. Okay, now there are consequences of this model following condition. Okay, we are going to have a look on that. So now this equation, okay, implies that there are cancellations of the factors of bt and this ac. Okay, we can cancel the factors of bt and ac. So now we can factorize the b polynomial from that. Okay, so b equals to b plus and b minus. This is the expression for b, where b plus is monic polynomial in which zeros are stable and can be cancelled by the controller. Okay, and b minus, this one, corresponds to unstable zeros that cannot be cancelled. Okay, so we can say that b minus must be a factor of bm. Okay, b minus should be a factor of bm, so that we can write here. So bm will be, as I said earlier, it should be factor of b minus, or vice versa. bm equals to b minus and bm dash. Okay, this is a dash, so it's a typing mistake. Consider it as a bm dash or inverse. So now because of this introduction of bm dash, b minus, b plus has been cancelled, and it must be a factor of ac, that is the Diophantine equation. Okay, furthermore, it follows from this equation, that our am must also be a factor of ac, as I said earlier. Okay, bm was a factor of ac, also am should be a factor of ac. That is the Diophantine equation. So now we can write it here. So ac will become a naught, am, and b plus. Okay, so we know that this b plus is a factor of B and AC. Okay, B plus is factor of B and of AC also. So from equation 6 of Diophantine equation, it also divide R. So R will become R equals to R dash and B plus. Okay, so now our equation of Diophantine. So now we have to substitute this equation number 12, that is R equals to R dash B plus, equation number 9 B equals to B plus B minus, and equation number 11 AC equals to A naught AM B plus in equation number 6. Okay, so we get just introduce that. So just write, for example, so instead of this equation will look like AR dash B plus B dash B minus S equals to A naught AM B plus. Okay, so this is, we have substitute AC equals to A naught AM B plus. Okay, now again for AR we have kept A as it is. For R we have denoted R dash and B plus. Okay, again same for BS. Okay, we have kept B as it is, sorry, here B as it is. Okay, so B means B plus and B minus, and S is the remaining. Okay, just putting the three equations into the equation of Diophantine, we get this equation. Okay, so now simplifying it, we get this as an equation, which is AR dash plus B minus S equals to A naught AM equals to AC dash. Okay, so now substituting equation number 9, 10, 11 in equation number 8. Okay, in this equation when we submit nine, 10, 11 in equation number 8, we get the value of T, that is A naught and BM dash. Okay, this is how we have used the model following to find out the value of T from the Diophantine equation. Okay, after that we have to have a look on the causality conditions. Okay, so to obtain a controller that is causal in discrete time cases, okay, we have to compose or impose these conditions. The conditions are: degree of S should be less than or equal to degree of R, and degree of T should be less than or equal to degree of R. Okay, so the solution of Diophantine equation, equation number 6, in which degree of S is at most degree of A minus 1, is called the minimum degree solution to Diophantine equation. Okay, so for the solution to be minimum degree, the condition to be satisfied is degree of S less than degree of A minus 1. This is the condition should be satisfied in order to solution to become a minimum degree. Okay, so the conditions for causality, we will take it in a direct manner, are, no need for derivation of these conditions. Okay, degree of AC greater than or equal to twice degree of A minus 1. Okay, so to find out the minimum degree solution to this Diophantine equation, the degree of S should be less than degree of A minus 1. Okay, so the from this condition for the causality are directly given as degree of AC, means the Diophantine equation should be greater than or equal to twice the degree of A minus 1, and then degree of AM minus degree of PM, okay, should be greater than degree of A minus degree of B, okay, which is equals to DO. So it is natural to choose a solution in which the controller has the lowest possible degree. So in case of discrete time cases, it is reasonable or very logical to require that there are no extra delay in the controller. Okay, so which will tell us that the polynomials r, s and t should have the same degrees. Okay, so after the causality conditions, we are going to have a look on a simple algorithm, that is minimum degree pole placement technique. Okay, or algorithm. So for that algorithm we require first of all some data, then specifications, and then compatibility conditions. Okay, so the data is the nothing but the polynomials a and b. Okay, this is our data, and specifications are given as polynomials like am, bm and ao, a naught. Okay, and the compatibility conditions in which these minimum degree pole placement algorithm will run are degree of bm equals to degree of a, then degree of bm equals to degree of b, and again degree of ao equals to degree of a minus degree of b minus 1. Okay, and lastly the bm should be b inverse, bm inverse and b minus. So we have three steps to perform this algorithm. Okay, in step 1 the factor b as b equals to, okay, we have already seen this, b equals to b plus and b minus, where b is monic because, okay, highest polynomial is 1. Okay, step 2 includes that the solution r dash and s with degree s, okay, less than a. So from this equation number 13 equals to, okay, ao naught and am. So again after finding out the solution for r dash and s, okay, we are going to have a step 3. So from r equals to r dash p plus and t equals to, already we have find out the t from this equation. Okay, t equals to a naught bm dash. So from r and t we have to compute the control signal from the control law. Okay, that is ru equals to tuc minus sy. Okay, so here all zeros are cancelled, and this design procedure simplifies significantly in a special case also. The special cases are in which all process zeros are cancelled. Okay, so if all process zeros are cancelled, then degree of ao equals to degree of a minus degree of b minus 1. Okay, and also it is natural for us to choose bm as bm equals to am in, okay, of 1 cube to the power do. Okay, so after that the factorization in the case of step 1 is very simple, and from this step 1 we get that b dash equals to b naught, and then again b plus equals to b by b naught. Okay, so after that we can get the value of t equals to am of 1 q to the power d upon bo, and the closed loop characteristic polynomial, which is this AC Diophantine equation, becomes b to the power plus and AC dash. Okay, now here this Diophantine equation AC in step 2, okay, it will reduce to AR dash plus B naught S equals to AC dash, which is A naught AM. So no zeros are cancelled here again. Okay, for in the first case all zeros were cancelled, In the second case, no zeros are cancelled. So when no zeros are cancelled, the design procedure is different than that of this. Okay, this design procedure was for the condition when all zeros are cancelled, and for when no zeros are cancelled, then the design procedure is as follows. So the factorization in step number 2 also becomes very simple if no zeros are cancelled. So we have b plus equals to 1, then b minus equals to b, and bm equals to beta b, okay, where beta equals to am of 1 upon b of 1. Okay, after that after that degree of a naught equals to degree of a minus degree of b minus degree of 1, okay, as it is. Then for value of t, it will become beta into a naught. So where t, you can see it here, t, so where beta is am of 1 upon bm and a naught. So the closed loop characteristic polynomial is this Diophantine equation AC equals to a naught am, as it is. Okay, it's quite here as it is was. And then the Diophantine equation in step number 2 will become as AR plus BS equals to AC equals to A naught and AM. Okay, this is how the minimum degree pole placement method or algorithm is done. Okay, this was the basic derivation and the algorithm for this technique.